Hi students, hope you all are doing good. So today we'll continue with the problem solving of this chapter, electric potential and capacitance. Today after I do few problems, one or two, we will start the NEET level MCQs and then we'll go for JEE level MCQs. Okay. So today we will start with a very nice question. Look carefully. The question is like this. Okay, there are three concentric spheres. Okay, these are three concentric spheres of radius r, 2r and 3r, and all are metal spheres, or you can say shells, no problem. Okay, now this is the center. Now what they are saying is they have given here charge q1, here charge q2, here charge q3. Okay, they have given charge q1 to this sphere, q2 to this sphere, q3 to this sphere. Then they are also saying the surface charge densities. What is surface charge density, students? Charge per unit area, right? So surface charge density of the three shells are equal, they are saying. So whatever is charge here per unit area, but surface charge density of the outer surface, okay, outer surface of the three shells are equal. So this information is given to us in the question. This information is given, students. Okay, be careful about this. Let me slightly bend this down. Okay. So the surface charge density of the outer surface, this outer surface, this outer surface, and this outer surface. There they are saying the charge density are equal. So you have to find the ratio Q1 is to Q2 is to Q3. So this we have to do. Okay, so let us see how we will solve this question. So first let us remember, since it is metal shells, you know that the charge will distribute in what way? If this one has charge Q1, okay, so this is in the question, they have given in the question. Now we want to know how the charges are distributed on the outer surface. So for that, look carefully. This has charge Q1, they told. So this will induce here minus Q1. And if this was neutral, outside there will be plus Q1. But since Q2 was also given, the total charge of this should be Q2. So if inner surface has minus Q1, outer surface should have Q1 plus Q2, because Q2 charge was given to this, remember. So the total charge of this should be Q2 because it is isolated. Yes or no, students? Isolated system means total charge should be conserved before and after. So if it was having charge Q2, now also it should have Q2 only. But you know, because of the application of Gauss law, which we did so many times already, if this has charge Q1, inner surface of this shell should have charge minus Q1. So outer one should have Q1 plus Q2. Similarly, this inner surface will have minus Q1 plus Q2. Outer surface will have Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Why plus Q3? Because charge Q3 was given. So total charge of this should remain Q3. So if the inner face or inner surface has charge minus Q1 plus Q2, outer surface should have Q1 plus Q2, and then whatever you have added, Q3. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now, what they have given? They have given the surface charge density of the outer surface of the three shells are equal. So if you look at the outer surface, what is the charge on the outer surface of this shell? Q1. And what is the area of the outer surface of this shell? 4 pi r square. So this is equal to, they are saying, out the surface charge density, the outer surface. What is the charge on the outer surface? Q1 plus Q2 for the second shell, right? And area for the second shell is 4 pi divided by radius is 2r square. That should be equal to surface charge density of the outer surface of the third shell. What is the charge on the outer surface of the third shell? Charge is q1 plus q2 plus q3 divided by area of the outer surface will be 4 pi radius square. What is the radius? 3r. This is 3r square. So this will give me q1 is equals to q1 plus q2 divided by 4, right? Because this 4 pi can be cancelled. R square can be cancelled. So 2 square will be 4, and here q1 plus q2 plus q3 divided by 9. So from here we can try to calculate the ratio, yes or no? So let us look at this equation. If you look at this equation, then you can write cross multiply 4q1 equals to q1 plus q2. So q2 will be how much? Q1 will come this side, 3q1, right? So q2 we got thrice of q1, right? Now let us look at this equation. See, q1 is also equal to this now, q1 plus q2 plus q3 divided by 9. So let us, because when these three are equal, I can make equation using these two, then I can make using these two also, but let me make another equation using this equal to this. So cross multiply 9q1 will be equal to q1 plus q2 plus q3, right students? Then if you bring this q1 this side, it will be 8q1 equals to q2 plus q3, but q2 already I know is how much? 3q1. So in place of q2 I can write 3q1 plus q3. Then 3q1 you bring this side, what will be q3? 5q1. So how much I got q3? 5q1, right? So question was to find this ratio. So the ratio will be q1 is to, what is q2? 3q1 is to, what is q3? 5q1. q1 can be cancelled. 1 is to 3 is to 5. So that is your answer. So the ratio of the charges given to the three conducting shells are 1 is to 3 is to 5. Okay, very simple question. Again, you should know what is the meaning of surface charge density. Surface charge density is charged by area. For which surface they are told? Outer surface, remember. So outer surface means this one. Outer surface of the first shell is this. Outer surface of the second shell is this. Outer surface of the third shell is this. Inner surface, if they say, what will be the surface charge density of the inner surface? Suppose I ask inner surface for this one, it will be minus q1 divided by area of this, 4 pi 2r square. And what will be surface charge density of the inner surface of the third shell? It will be minus q1 plus q2, total charge divided by area. Area is 4 pi 3r square. So this also we can just remember. So this is the surface charge density of the inner surface of the second shell. Okay. So I hope everyone has understood this problem. Very simple question. Now another brilliant question that came in one of the NEET exams is similar to this, but it is slightly more challenging. Okay. But before we answer that question, I want you to first understand one simple trick in mathematics. Okay, so please try to understand this. If this is something I will be, we may come across many times later also. So I want you to remember now and never forget. If ratio of two variables x by y is supposed 2 by 5, let's say. This is the ratio of two variables, and the sum of two variables is supposed 10. Then immediately how can you find x and y? Immediately. So x will be 2 by 5 plus 2, 7. 2/7 of total, which is 10. And what will be y? Y will be 5/7 of total. So this is something I want you to tell fast. Okay, without taking too much time. Of course, you can solve this equation, right? You can cross multiply, substitute x here, solve, you will get y, then substitute y, you will get x. But this is something I want you to remember. So when you know the ratio and you know the sum, then to find one of the variable x, what you do, these two divided by sum of these two into total. Total means x plus y. For example, in simple, suppose x by y is suppose a by b, and x plus y is suppose q. It will be x equals to a by a plus b into q, and y will be b by a plus b into q. Okay, so this is something very important, very simple, but I want you to reach here faster, okay, without taking too much time. Okay, you can solve and check if I have done anything wrong, but believe me, it is correct. Okay, so now the next question is, what I want to do now is all these are entrance problems. Okay, I hope you have understood already. What I'm going to tell you is, I have two concentric spheres, radius is suppose a and b. Okay, and what I'm saying is the charge capital Q is divided among the two shells, so that they have equal surface charge density. Okay, so whatever charge, so this time students, they are not telling charge here is q1, charge here is q2, like that. What they are saying, there is some charge capital Q which they are dividing between this shell and this shell in such a way that the two shells should have equal surface charge density. Question is to find potential at the center C. Let's say here. So we need to find potential at this point. Answer should be in terms of what quantities? Given quantities. What are the given quantities? Radius of the two conducting shells. They have given, and they have given you the total charge which is distributed among this and this. In what way? But it is not divided equally. It is divided in such a way that they should have equal surface charge density. Surface charge density means sigma, right, which is nothing but charge by area. Whatever charge is there divided by area. Okay, students, fine. So let us say this has charge q1, and let us say this has charge q2. Now you know by induction, no, if this is q1, this will be minus q1, and this will be q2 plus q1. So if you do the distribution of charge, this is how it will be distributed, actually speaking. However, students, in this question, they are just asking you to find potential. And while finding potential, we don't need to worry about the distribution of charge. Last class also I have told, because this minus q1, whatever potential this minus q1 will produce at any point, will be cancelled by the potential produced by this plus q1. So while finding the potential, you can forget about the distribution of the charge. You can just say that here charge q1 is there and here charge q2 is there. Now in the question, what they told, surface charge densities are equal for the two spheres. So it is given, so let us solve the question. It is given that sigma of this is equal to sigma of this. Sigma matlab surface charge density. What will be the surface charge density of this sphere? q1 by area. What is the area of this? 4 pi a square. Similarly, what will be surface charge density of this shell? Charge is q2, area is 4 pi b square. 4 pi cancel. So q1 by q2 will be what? A square by b square. Correct, no students? Okay. Now, total charge was given how much? Capital Q. Because this capital Q was divided between this shell and this shell. So if I say q1 is coming here, then remaining should go here. So q1 plus q2 must be this. This is also given. Now just now I told you the trick. If you know the ratio and the sum, how to write the charge q1 now individually? So q1 will be a square by this divided by sum of this into q. Similarly, q2 will be what? This b square divided by a square plus b square into q. So why this q1 and q2 are needed? Because we need to find potential, and to find the potential we need to know the charges on the two shells. Now where they ask potential, at which point they ask potential? At center. Now at center, who will produce potential? Charges, right? Now listen carefully. For this shell, where is this point? Inside, and inside the shell potential is always same as on its surface. So whatever potential is here due to this will be same as here also due to this. So first I need to calculate due to q1, then I need to calculate due to q2, right? So due to q1, what will be the potential at the center? Same as on the surface. What is the formula on the surface? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charge on this shell divided by radius of this shell plus. Now we need to find potential at center due to this. Now for this also, where is the center? Inside only, no? So inside potential will be same as on the surface. So it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by radius of this, which is b. Then you know what is q1 and q2. You can substitute here now. Yes or no, students? So you can substitute q1 here, q2 here. Okay, let us see what we get. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught I can take common. I can take 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught common, right? Then q1 will be a square q by a square plus b square in divided by a. This a is also there, na? Plus q2 is b square q divided by a square plus b square into b. Then one b can be cancelled, right? Like this. Then you can take q common if you want, right? So if you take q common, right, you will get finally if I write it properly after taking everything common, let me show this side. So potential at the center will be equal to q is common, 4 pi epsilon naught is common, a square plus b square is also common, and what is left? A plus b. So that would be the potential at the, potential at the center. Okay, I have taken capital Q common, a square plus b square common. Okay. What if there were 3 shells, and if they say total charge is divided among the 3 shells, concentric shells, which has radius, let's say a, b, and the third one has radius c. Then, and it is also mentioned that surface charge density are equal. Then if you repeat the derivation for 3 shells, you will get, you can expect, right, a square plus b square plus c square, and here it will be a plus b plus c. Yes or no? You expect that if there were 3 shells. Okay, fine. So now students, let us do the NEET level MCQs, which is module number 8 or 9, I think. So please see, already we have done up to dipole and Gauss law. So dipole and Gauss law we have completed. So I will mention to you the question number, so you can check it in the material. Question number 28 you have to say. Okay, question number 28, module number 8. Okay, so module number 8, question number 28. So first we will be doing some NEET level MCQs. So look carefully. Question number 28 says, work done by an external force to move a negative charge from point A to point B So work done by external force to move a negative charge from point A to B is given 7 into 10 to the power minus 4 joules. If the charge was started from rest, so charge started from rest they told, and has 2.1 into 10 power minus 4 joules of kinetic energy when it reaches B. So this is point A, this is point B. Okay, the charge is going from A to B. Here it started from rest, so velocity here is 0 or kinetic energy here is 0. Kinetic energy here they have given 2.1 into 10 to the power minus 4 joules. They want you to just compare potential of this point with this point. Okay, they just want you to compare whether this point is at higher potential than this point or this point is at lower potential. That comparison only they are asking. We don't have to do any calculation. However, so what is the clue here? Look here. External force is moving the charge. Please understand here. External force is moving the charge from point A to point B, and kinetic energy has increased. Kinetic energy has increased. So this point is at potential VA, this point is at potential VB, let's say. So now you know work done by external force from A to B is nothing but delta U, which is change in potential energy, plus change in kinetic energy. Now usually we don't write this. Okay, usually if you remember, this we usually know in our board syllabus when we were solving problems to calculate work done from A to B any charge, we used to write Q VB minus V. Yes or no? Check the formulas, you will find this formula. But this is always done with the assumption that we move the charge slowly. In this case, the charge is not moved slowly because kinetic energy has increased. So you should now use work energy theorem more properly. So usually how do you write work energy theorem? Work done by all forces equals to delta K. Correct na? Okay. Now which are the forces here? External forces plus electrostatic force. Electric force also will be there. Right? Okay. Now electric force is conservative force, right? So for conservative force, what I told, you can write work done as minus of change in potential energy. So work done by external force will be delta U plus delta K. Okay, work done by external force will be delta U plus delta K. That's minus delta U will come this side. Already I have explained this part many times. That work done by conservative forces is always negative of change in potential energy. Now, if you remember, potential energy is the charge which you move into potential. So this is change. No, you are going from A to B. So delta U, how will you write? Q into VB minus VA plus delta K means what? KB minus KA. Okay, students. So basically, what I'm saying is this is only true. See, when will this equation become this equation? If this is zero. When will this be zero? If these two are equal. Matlab, if you move the charge slowly without any acceleration, then you can say your work done by external force will be equal to change in potential energy only. But if kinetic energy is also changing, then the person who is doing the work has to increase potential energy also and has to increase kinetic energy also. As simple as that. So change in potential energy, you can write Q into potential at final point minus potential at initial point, and change in kinetic energy you can write this way. Okay, students. So having understood this, let me again write it properly. So the point here is, in this problem, please do not write work done by external force directly as Q into VB minus VA. Usually you can write like this. But if they mention in the question very clearly that kinetic energy has increased, then you should also include change in kinetic energy. Just now I wrote. And this I can write KB minus KA. Right? Okay. So please remember this part. Okay, students. So now let us see what will be your VB minus VA. So VB minus VA will be work done by external force minus this will come this side KB minus KA divided by Q. Right? Okay. Now look carefully. We don't have to, we cannot calculate the difference. We cannot calculate because Q, the value of the charge which is moved, the value of the charge which is moved, that they have not told. But they told it is a negative charge. The only thing they told is this is negative charge. Okay. So now look carefully. Work done is given positive number. Listen, 7 into 10 power minus 4. So work done is given positive number. Final kinetic energy is more than initial because initially it was at rest they told. Yes or no, students? Okay. So this is more than this. So this quantity is positive. Right? So this is higher positive minus smaller positive. So this whole thing will be positive. But you have to divide by what? Q. And Q is what? Negative. So since Q is negative, it means VB minus VA will be negative. And since VB minus VA negative means potential at this point A should be greater than at B. So this is how we can calculate which point will be at higher potential. So option B, potential at A is greater than potential at B. Okay students, let's see question number 29 now. Okay, it says two parallel plates having opposite charges with equal charge density 36 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb per meter square are separated by a distance of 12 centimeter. So there are two plates, large plates you think, and one has plus sigma charge, other has equal but minus sigma. Okay, and the surface charge density they have given numerical value is 36 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb per meter square. Then this separation is given, let us say D, that is given as 12 centimeter. Now what they are doing, a proton is released from the positive plate. So from here a proton is released. Then they are asking if the speed of the proton when it strikes here, with what speed it will strike, that we have to calculate. Okay, so let us think why the proton, why it will strike with some speed. First of all, it is very simple. Proton is positively charged. So the moment you leave it free, once you release it, what will happen? This plus plate will repel it, this minus plate will attract it. Understood? No. So it will accelerate because it will feel a force due to the electric field. Why there is electric field? Because one plate is positive, other plate is negative. So there will be electric field in between the plates, uniform electric field. Okay, so we need to first calculate due to this electric field, what will be the speed of the proton when it reaches this plate. That we have to first find. Now look here, there are several ways to do that. One of the easiest way to do is work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. Here external force is not acting. Pankaj sir is not pushing the charge. I am just releasing the charge in what field? Electric field. Understood? So work is done only by the force of electric field. So work done by electric field. Only electric field is doing the work. No external force this time. Okay. No external force. Only electric field is doing the work. Now how much work electric field will do? Think carefully, all of you. From here to here, displacement is d and electric field is constant between the plates, we all know. So we can use the formula for work done as force into displacement into cos of angle between force and displacement. Now force will be, since it is positive charge, force will be this side wherever there is electric field. Displacement is also this side only, right? So force into displacement will be the work done. Angle between force and displacement is 0, so cos 0 will be 1. That will be equal to change in kinetic energy, right? Here kinetic energy will be how much? Half mv square. Here when it started, what was the kinetic energy? 0, because initial speed was 0, because it was just released. Release matlab like dropped. Okay. So change in kinetic energy will be half mv square. Okay, students. Now the force is on which charge? This proton's charge is q, let's say. Then any charge in electric field will feel what force? Q into E. So this way you can find a relation between the electric field which accelerates the charge by applying force. Okay, students. Another way of doing this, if you remember, since there is only electric field acting on the charge, we can also use law of conservation of mechanical energy. I call it L-Come. L-Come means law of conservation of mechanical energy. So here what will be the total mechanical energy when it started here? So let us say here kinetic energy is Ka. Here let us call this plate A, this plate B. So here kinetic energy is Ka, potential energy here is Ua, let us say. Similarly here kinetic energy is Kb, potential energy here is Ub. Okay. Then you know one of them is 0 because it started from 0 speed. So kinetic energy at A is 0. So kinetic energy at B will be equal to UB minus UA. What is UB? Potential energy of this charge at this plate. Now you can write potential energy in terms of potential also. So if I say this plate has potential VB, this plate has potential VA, then I can write this as charge into potential. Just check your notes or check the previous videos, you will remember potential energy and potential relation, right? Okay, so then I can write kinetic energy at B is what? Half mv square, and you charge into VB minus VA. What is VB minus VA? Potential difference between the plates. And if you remember, if electric field is constant, like in this example, then potential difference magnitude, if you remember, I can write simply E into D, because I'm moving this way, so my distance is in the same direction as electric field. Many times I have told this potential difference is E into D if electric field is constant. Okay, so check this somewhere, you'll find this. So in place of potential difference, I can write what, students? E into D. Okay, so you can see same equation you will get. So whichever way you are comfortable, you can use. Okay, another method is there, but let me not show so many methods. Okay, let me tell you only to find what you do. Find the force, then find the acceleration. Since force is constant, why force is constant? Because electric field is constant. So acceleration also will be constant. Acceleration is force by mass. If acceleration is constant, then you can use the kinematic equations. V square minus u square equals to 2as. Use that equation, same result you will get. Check once. Okay. So to find the velocity when it reaches here, what I need to do? Just take square root, cross multiply 2QED by M. 2u multiply QED by M. Okay. Or sometimes you can write in place of this ED, what you can write? Potential difference. Because potential difference is nothing but ED. So that depends on whether they give you potential difference between the plates or they give you electric field and distance. So remember this relation, students. If they give you potential difference, then directly write in place of E into D, what you can write? Potential difference. VB minus VA. Okay, students? So if I take Q common, what will I get? VB minus VA, and this is nothing but your potential difference. Okay, students? Delta V. Okay, just outside, let me just move it. Okay, now students? Fine. So now we have to just substitute the values and get the answer. Oh, we need to calculate electric field here, because electric field usually they give, in this question they have not given electric field. So what we have to do, first calculate the electric field. So what is the formula for electric field? These are two plates, right? And since they have been given equal and opposite charge, you remember, right? This side charges will be 0, all the charge will be here only, here and here. So forget about this concept. Now look here, electric field due to this sheet of charge will be away this side. How much it will be? Sigma by 2 epsilon naught, right? Due to sheet of charge. Similarly, this sheet of charge, this is negative. So electric field will be towards. Magnitude will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught only. We have done this using Gauss law. So total electric field will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma by 2 epsilon naught, which will be sigma by epsilon naught in between the plates. Outside it will be 0, I know, because due to this positive plate will be away, due to negative plate will be towards, so it will be opposite in direction. But in between the plates, due to positive plate away from positive plate, due to negative plate towards negative plate, so both are in the same direction. Understood, students? Okay. So if I use this electric field, then what will be my final formula for the speed of the proton when it will strike the negative plate? It will be V equals to root of 2q. E is sigma by epsilon naught d by n. So this will be the formula. Now we need to substitute the values. So again, this will be a little difficult, but we need to use approximation. Anyways, this is entrance level question, right? So no need to do exactly, right? So what is the charge of the particle which is moving here? The particle which is moving is proton. So charge of proton, you should remember 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. What was the surface charge density on the two plates? The magnitude of the surface charge density was 36 into 10 to the power minus 9. D was distance between the plates, which was 12 centimeter. Convert into meters, so 12 by 100. This is in meters. Okay, you have to convert in meters. Then you have to divide by epsilon naught and m. Epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. Mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. So all these constant values you should remember. Actually in entrance exam they will give you these constants, but better to remember mass of electron, charge of electron, mass of proton, charge of proton. Okay, in chemistry also it is very useful, right? Okay. Now we have to do approximate calculation. Look carefully. 1.67, 1.6 and 1.67 I can cancel approximately. This I will take approximately 9. Then if I take this approximately 9, then this will be 9, 4s will be 36. Yes or no, students? Okay. Now this will be, V will be square root of 2 into 4 into 12 into 10 to the power how much? Check carefully. Okay, so this is minus 19. This is minus 9. Then this minus 12 will go up. So minus 12 minus 27 will be minus 39. That minus 39 will go up plus 39. Or this 100 is also there in the denominator. So this will be minus 37 because of these two zeros. So this will go up plus 37. So this will be how much now? 37 minus this will be 28. That will be 9. So it will be 10 to the power 9. Right, students? Okay. So now square root of 10 to the power 9 is always difficult to calculate. So what we will do, we'll write this as 1.2. If I write this as 1.2, okay, then I have to multiply with 10 because it was actually 12. So 12 if I write as 1.2, I need to multiply with 10. So that 10 and 10 to the power 9 will be 10 to the power 10. So the reason why I do that is to take the square root easily. Then you can see now what you will get here. This will be 4 2 is 8. So 1.2 into 8 will be 8 2 is 16, 9.6. So root over 9.6 into 10 to the power 10. Now square root of 9, this is almost like 3 point something you will get, right? 3 point something into 10 to the power 5 meter per second. So if you see the options, it is given as 1, 2, 3 and 4. But if you look, they are saying the speed of proton when it strikes the negative plate. They have given actually the speed of proton like this, n into 10 to the power 2 kilometer per second. And they are asking you to find this n actually. So this is like integer type question, integer type question where the answer will be an integer. So we have found the speed to be like this. So this I can write 3 point something into 10 to the power 2 if I write, then what will I left? 10 to the power 3 will be left. 10 to the power 3 will be what? Kilometer per second. So if you compare this answer this answer with the question that they've given, then your n should be 3. If you do exactly, you will get 3.0 something. Okay, right now you will get 3.4 something, but approximately you can convert that into 3. Why approximate? Because I have taken 8.85 as 9 and then I did the calculation. Otherwise it will be very complicated, right students? So there's no point wasting so much time. Approximately, if we get the right answer, that is enough. Let us do the next question, question number 30. Okay, if you read the question, okay, I will explain the question to you directly. So they are saying there are two plates which are oppositely charged. So one plate is positive, one plate is negative, like in the previous question. They want you to find potential difference between the two plates. What difference? Potential difference between the two plates. Now, they are releasing an electron from here whose mass is m, charge is e in magnitude. Okay, they are releasing an electron from here. If you release from here, it will never go that side because electron is negative, so it will be attracted to positive only. So if you release electron from here, then because these plates are oppositely charged, there is a uniform electric field in between oppositely charged plates, right students? So under the action of this electric field, this negative charge will feel a force this side and it will reach here. If in the question they have told time taken to reach from one plate to other plate is t. Time taken to reach from one plate to other plate is t, they have told. So we have to write this potential difference in terms of time taken and in terms of this distance, which they have written L, not D. So these are the given quantities. Time taken is mentioned, mass and charge are mentioned, this length is mentioned. So how do we find the potential difference? Same kind of trick we will apply. Work done should be equal to change in kinetic energy. So half mv square minus 0, because it was released, so initial velocity will be 0. And work done in terms of potential difference, how you can write? Q into delta P, right? We have done this already. If you forgot also, work done, if the force is constant, we can write force into displacement. Because force is this side, displacement is also this side. So the work done by the electric field will be, electrostatic force will be positive, force into displacement. And force is Q into E. And E into D is what we call potential difference when electric field is uniform. So we know that already. So work done is Q into potential difference, which we want to calculate. See. Now this is half m. Now v square will come. Now v, how to calculate? Well, initial velocity is 0, and since your force is constant, acceleration also will be constant. So we can use kinematic equation v equals to u plus at. So if I use that equation, what will be initial velocity? 0, and acceleration I can write force, which is QE by n, right? Force is QE, and for electron charge is E in magnitude. So the speed will be force divided by mass into T. This is your force. Acceleration is force by mass, okay, from Newton's second law. Then I can write this capital E as potential difference divided by length, right? Because just now I told E into this distance is potential difference. Here this distance is given as L. So in place of E, I can write potential difference divided by length. Why I am doing that? So that here only potential difference should be there, right? In the option there is no electric field mentioned. So Q into potential difference will be half m. V square, if you do, it will be E square potential difference square time square by mass square length square. So mass and mass will cancel. One potential difference will cancel. This is E for electron. Charge is E. So one E also will cancel. So if you cross multiply, you will get ml square equals to, okay, half E delta V T square. So delta V will be 2 ml square by E T square. Okay. So what will be your delta V? 2m, option A, 2L square m by T square E. Okay, students, so this is option A. So like this, please remember, if electric field is uniform, then potential difference between the two plates can be written as E into D. Please remember, E into D. What is D? Distance between the two plates. And whatever work is done by the electric field, that will increase the kinetic energy. Let us see question number 31. A thin spherical sphere has charge Q and radius capital R. So question number 31. There is a thin spherical shell. Charge is Q, radius is capital R. Consider 2 points A and B such that distance of A from the center is RA, which is less than capital R. So it is inside. So point A is inside. This distance is RA they told, and they told RA is less than capital R. And distance of B from the center of the sphere is RB. They should have mentioned RB is greater than capital R. So please mention this, okay? So RB is B somewhere here, let us see. And this is your RB. What they want? Potential difference between A and B. So this time there is only one sphere, one charge, okay? So potential here will be due to this, potential here will be due to this. So potential difference they want. Now look carefully. Where is point A for this shell? It is inside. Since it is inside, potential here will be same as on the surface. So on the surface, what is the potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charged by radius of the sphere, which is capital R. This is capital R. So please don't do the mistake of using this distance. Even if this is the point where I want potential, that is because this point is inside. So inside we don't use this distance. Inside directly we write potential everywhere is constant, same as on surface. So we write radius of the shell minus, this is potential at this point due to this shell. Only one shell is there, right? Now potential here due to this shell will be, it is outside. So outside you have to use the formula, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by small r. And what is small r? Distance from center to the observation point. So it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by RB. So RB will come, but RA will not come. Okay. So option B will be the right answer. Let's see question number 32 now. A charge capital Q is placed at each corner of a cube of side A. Potential at the center of the cube they are asking. Okay, so 32, there is a cube like this, and there are charges at the corners. So they want potential, each charge is Q everywhere. Okay, they want at the center. Now center means wherever the body diagonal will intersect here. So at C they want. Now last class also, some few classes back, I have told you, if the side, what is the side of the cube they have mentioned? Side of the cube is A. So if this is A, this will be also A. So this hypotenuse will be root 2A from Pythagoras theorem. This is also A. So this will be root 3A from Pythagoras theorem. So this body diagonal from one corner to the other opposite corner, that distance is root 3A. Now look here. What will be the distance between this charge and this observation point? Let me call this as R. So that R will be half of this diagonal, which is root 3A. Right? So that is the distance between any charge from the center. Right, students? Right? Because it is a cube. So if you see from this side, it is a cube, right? Like this. So this charge, the point is at the center. So distance from this to this point, this to this point, this to this point, this to this point, that will be same. So from one corner to this center, from one corner to this center, from one corner to other center, all that distance will be half of this body diagonal. This is what we call body diagonal. Okay, so once we know the distance between each charge and the observation point, we can directly use superposition principle to find potential at the center. So potential at the center will be potential due to each charge, algebraic addition, and since all of the charges are positive, potential will be 8 times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by distance between q and the center. It will be 8 into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. What is r? Root 3 a by 2. 2 will go up. So if you cancel 2 2s are, so 2 4s are, so it will be 4q by pi epsilon naught a root 3. So that will be the total potential at the center produced by the 8 charges. So with which option it matches? Option C. Okay. 33 question you see. A half ring of radius capital R has a charge of lambda per unit length. So lambda is the linear charge density for what kind of ring they told? Half ring. So what is the meaning of lambda? Charge per unit length. So divide the charge on the ring by the length of the perimeter of the ring. Okay students. So question number 33. So there is a half ring. So let me show you first full ring. Then let me cut this one. Okay. So there is a half ring like this. The radius is r. Okay. So this radius is r. And there is some charge. Total charge they did not give, but lambda they give. So they want you to find potential at the center of this half ring. So if you think, if you take this way, okay, if you take one small dq here and see this distance, that will be r. Take this dq and then see the distance, that is also r. So every dq is at same distance from the center. So if you calculate potential here due to one small dq, which is like a point charge, what will be the potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught dq by from dq to observation point, which is radius. Now total potential, what I should do? Integrate. But the beauty is every dq is at same distance r, so r becomes a constant. So I can take it outside. So I have to just integrate dq. If I integrate dq, what will I get? Total charge of the ring, half ring. Now we have to write in terms of lambda. Now what is lambda? Linear charge density. So this charge is the total charge of this. So total charge divided by length. What is this length? Half of circumference. 2 pi r. So 2 cancel. Q will be lambda pi r. So put this q here. What will be your answer? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r. What is q? Lambda pi r. So it will be lambda divided by pi r cancel 4 epsilon naught. So potential at the center will be lambda divided by 4 epsilon naught. Option. Here they wrote in terms of k, okay, and k means in this question 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So if I write this in terms of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, how it will be? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. If I write, then I have to put here pi, no? And this will be k lambda pi. So k lambda pi means last option D. But they should mention k is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. If they write in terms of 4 and epsilon naught, that will be the answer. Okay, students? Students, we'll see now question number 34. So in this question, what they are saying is there are two rings whose axes coincide. Okay, so axis of the ring you remember, right? If this is the ring, a line passing through center and perpendicular to its plane, that is called axis of the ring. So in the question they are saying the axis is coinciding for both of them. So both of them have the same axis and they are separated by a distance of d apart. Radius of each one of them is given as r. Okay, and the charge on one of them is given plus q, other one of them is minus q. They are asking to calculate work done to carry a charge Q naught. Q naught is not the source charge. These are your source charge. Q naught is basically the charge which you move. So the work done to carry a charge Q naught from A to B. And where is A and B? The center of the two rings. Okay, which center it doesn't matter. Okay, you cannot be here, A here. That doesn't matter. Okay, so now you be very careful. So the work done to carry a charge Q naught from A to B. This is the question in this question number 34. Now, I hope all of you remember work done by any external agency to carry a charge Q naught from A to B. What is the formula? Q naught into VB minus B. So what I need to first do is find potential at A and B due to this source charge. So for that I need to remind you about potential due to ring. So if I have a ring of charge plus Q, then at a distance x with radius r, potential here due to this ring, how much it was? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by root over r square plus x square. So please check the formula, okay? You will find this distance was there. And at the center, if I ask, and at center, what is your x? 0. So formula will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. So this you have to remember in order to solve this problem. Okay, students. So we need to find potential at A and B. So here, let us start at A. Now, who will produce potential at A? This charge and this charge. Why will this charge not produce? Potential is produced by the source charges, and if you have two source charges, both will produce potential. You have to do algebraic addition. So first you have to find potential at A due to this charge plus Q charge. Then you have to find potential at same point due to minus Q charge. Then you have to add. So let us calculate. Now, this for this plus Q, for this charge, where is this point? At the center. So we can use this formula. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. Right? Now this is potential at which point? A, but due to which ring? This ring. Now for this ring, where is this point? Not at the center, at some distance d on the axis, like this point. Right? So this x was the distance of the point from the center. So I want potential at this point, but due to this ring now. So for this ring, this point is not at the center. So don't use this formula. It is at a distance d from the center. So you have to use this formula. So plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Charge of this ring is minus q divided by root over r square plus d square. Correct, no? So that is the potential at A. So multiply plus minus, I can write minus here, so then I can write here q. So that part you please do yourself, okay? Similarly, tell me potential at B. Can you tell me potential at B? First, it will be due to this ring. Now for this ring, where is this point? At the center, so this formula. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q by r. Because the source charge is negative, right? So I am finding potential here due to first this ring. Now due to this ring, I want here. So that will be, which formula I have to use? The upper one. Plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by root over r square plus d square. So I know VB, I know VA. Now when I subtract, will anything cancel? No, nothing will cancel. Because this and this is opposite of this and this is opposite of this, so nothing will cancel. Okay, so now we have to substitute VA and VB and calculate the work. So let us do it. So work done from A to B by some external agency will be Q naught. So let us do this a little faster. Okay, so you see this minus this I have to do now. So this minus this. So this minus this, if you see this will be minus, this will be minus. So it will be minus 2q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Everybody understood, na? This is like minus x, this is like x. So minus x will be minus 2x. Similarly, this minus this will be this plus this, not because this is minus already. VB minus VA we have to do, students. So this minus this. So that time it will become plus 2q by 4 pi epsilon naught root over r square plus d square. Right? This is VA. So then finally I can take some few things common. So 2q 4 pi epsilon naught common, q naught common. So here what will be left? It will be qi2 common, 2qi2 common. So it will be 1 by r minus 1 by. So let me write this one first. 1 by root over r square plus d square minus 1 by r. So let's see which option matches with the result which we got. Option C, if you look, we can cancel 2 and 4. So q naught q by 2 pi epsilon naught 1 by r minus 1 by r minus 1 by, okay, I have got ulta, okay, maybe because they did not specify from which point to which point, right? So I can also write this as, if I take minus common, even that can be the right answer, because in this question they did not tell you from this center to this center or from this center to this center. They have not mentioned. So I did from here to here, probably they wanted from here to here. So then you have to do VB minus, I did VB minus VA, you have to do VA minus VB. So if you do that way, you will get the right answer which they have given. But if you check carefully, the only option which will match with this, if you take minus common, will be option C. Okay. So both positive and negative can be taken as the answer here, because they did not specifically mention from the center of which ring to the center of which ring. Okay. Let's see 35th question. 35. A charge capital Q is uniformly distributed over a long rod AB of length L. So there is a rod where charge is distributed uniformly, and the total charge is capital Q, they told, and the length is L. They want electric potential at a point O, which is also at a distance L from one end, from this end. Okay, students, so they want potential at this point. So how to do? Can I directly use point charge formula? No, because this is not a point charge. So what will I do? I will take at some distance x, at some distance, excuse me, at some distance x, let me take a small part of this rod, and the length of that rod will be dx. That small part will be dx, right? If this is x, this will be dx, right? Okay. Now the charge on this part, since it is uniformly charged, I can write charge on this as lambda into dx, right? And lambda I can write total charge by total length into dx. So this is allowed because the charge is uniformly distributed. So now for this small part, I can find potential here using the formula for point charge. So dV is potential at O, potential at O due to dq charge. dq matlab a small piece of this total charge. Okay, so that will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught dq by, what is the, here what do we write? Distance between your source charge and the observation point, which is x, right? Okay, now to find the total, what I should do? Integrate. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught dq by x. Now from where to where I have to integrate? I have to start from this part till I reach this part, right? Because I have to find potential here due to this part, then potential here due to this part, potential here due to this part. Like that I have to integrate till I reach this part. Understood? So my x variable will increase from here to here. Now when I am here, what will be my x variable? L. And when I reach here, what will be my x variable? 2L. So my x variable increases from L to 2L. Understood or not? My limits of this x will be from L to 2L. Now constants I can take outside, but is x constant? No. So you cannot take x outside. Only 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught you can take outside. L to L. dq already I have shown is how much? Q by L dx divided by this x. Now this Q by L you can take outside. Total charge and total length are constant. Now what will be the potential? Q by 4 pi epsilon naught L. What is left? Integration of 1 by x dx. Formula is log x base e. So it will be log x base e. Log x base e. Upper limit is 2L, lower limit is L. Right, students? Okay. After that, what we have to do? We have to put the limits. So if you put upper limit in place of the variable, your potential will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught L. Put upper limit in place of variable log of 2L minus log of L base e. Then you know another formula, log A minus log B is log A divided by B. Na? So log 2L divided by L will be log 2. In some books they write log 2 base E as ln2. Okay, so which will be the right answer for this question? Option D. So like this, even if this may be not a point charge, still we can find the potential very easily by integrating the potential due to each part of the rod. So divide the rod into small pieces and find potential due to each piece. And for one small piece, we can use potential due to point charge. Let us see question number 36 now. Very good question. 36 is a very good question. So what it says is a conducting bubble of radius A, thickness T. So thickness they have mentioned this time. So there is a bubble like this, you imagine. Okay. So radius is A and thickness is very small. This thickness is P, very small compared to A, but not zero. Has a potential capital V. So this has some potential capital V. Now what they do, they collapse the bubble. Collapse. Collapse means the bubble breaks. So the bubble collapses, okay, and it collapses into a droplet now. So this is drop. So they are asking you what is the potential of this droplet in terms of what options are there? A, T and V. A, T and V. These are the given variables. Now I hope you all understood the question, right? So initially what they are saying, this bubble had a potential V. That clearly means it was charged. Without charge, how it will have potential? So some charge must have been there with this bubble Q. Now this bubble collapses. Somebody broke the bubble. So you know, na, when the bubble will collapse, it will become liquid. So this drop has become into a drop. So they want potential of this drop. Now you remember, right? Charge is conserved. So they have not taken charge somewhere out, or they have not added any new charge. They only collapsed this bubble into this drop. So if the total charge is Q, this also will be Q. The only thing is this radius we need to somehow find. So let us call this radius small r. Okay. Now, since this is a shell kind of thing, what will be potential on the surface of the shell? Whenever they say potential of a drop or of a bubble or of a shell or of Pankaj sir, it means on the surface. Of Pankaj sir means on the surface. So on the surface of this shell, what will be the potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by radius. Radius you can write A. Some of you may think, no sir, we should write A plus T. But students, they told T is very small, so this is close to A. That's why they told T is very small. So this is the potential formula we know. Here what will be potential? This is also drop and charge will remain same, Q by R. So somehow to relate these two, I need to relate A with R. How will I relate A with R? The easiest way, like we did in case of drops. Remember that problem where some number of drops came together. So that time what happened? The volume remains conserved. So total volume initially must be same as volume finally. Volume of what? Volume of the liquid. So in bubble the liquid is only here, remember. The in bubble the liquid is only here. No, this is nothing, this is hollow. So what is the volume of this portion of this bubble? If you remember, I've already discussed area into thickness. So this is a shell, no, it's a sphere. So area will be 4 pi a square, thickness is t. Remember, I have discussed this already in one of the videos, right? Okay. So volume will be 4 pi a square, radius square into thickness. It is like saying, if you take this kind of volume, if I say this area is A, which is your length into breadth, and this thickness is T, what is the volume of this, whatever body you have? The volume will be length into breadth into this height, so which I can write area into this thickness. Same way, if I curve it into a sphere, if I curve this into a sphere, volume will be area into thickness. But area of this sphere I can write 4 pi a square. Again, don't think why I am not writing a plus t. That is because t is very small. So while adding, you can neglect t, right? See, 1 crore like this plus 0.001, you can write this only. This is negligible. But when you multiply 1 crore with 0.00001, you cannot neglect this and write 1 crore. No. You know 1000 into 0, you cannot neglect 0 and write 1000. No, that is stupid. No, 1000 plus 0, then you can write 1000. Right, 1000 plus 0 is 1000. 1000 into 0 is not 1000. No, so while multiplying small number, you cannot neglect the small number. So while multiplying, you cannot neglect. Okay, students. So initial volume of this liquid in this shell is 4 pi a square t. Once it becomes this drop, then there is liquid everywhere here. No, so this is a sphere. So what is the volume of that sphere? 4 by 3 by r cube. So from here and here we can see the relation between r and t. 4 pi first let me cancel. So a square t will be r cube by 3. Right, so let me just put everything together once, whatever we have found till now. So once you put all these things together, you will get idea what to do, right? So potential of the bubble was given V, which we know is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught A. Potential of the drop they are asking is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R. And the relation between A and R, what we found, A square T is equal to R cube by 3. Now we want the answer in terms of A and T. So if you want the answer in terms of A and T, you have to substitute for R. Right, students? So what will be R from here? So R cube will be 3a square T. So R will be 3a square T power 1 by 3. So put this R here. So potential of the drop will be Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. But again, students, we need to write in terms of this V also. Right, students, we have to write in terms of this V. So we need to bring that V also. So to bring that V, what I will do, if I substitute this R here, what will I get? See, 3a square T 1 by 3. Right? Yes or no? Okay. So now let us bring V here. To bring V here, see what I will do. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught A, let me write, and then A here also. Right, so I divided by A, multiply by A. Then you know this part is the potential of the bubble which they told. So V dash will be V into, now see here, A is in the numerator, here A square power 1 by 3 is A power 2 by 3. So if I take 2 by 3 up, it will become A 1 minus 2 by 3, that will be A 1 by 3. So in the numerator there will be A 1 by 3, in the denominator will be 3t, right? A in the numerator power 1 by 3, 3t power 1 by 3. So that will be the answer, final answer. Okay. So what we did is we substituted this r. After substituting, you need to write v dash in terms of v, remember. So v has a here, right? So what I did, I divided by a, I multiplied with a. Then I can write this quantity as v here. And then a here, and a square power 1 by 3, I can simplify, no? And that will become a power 1 by 3, which I have done, right? Okay. So this matches with which option? Option A, right? A by 3t, A by 3t whole power 1 by 3. Option A. Let us see question number 37 now. Two spherical conductors of radii R1 and R2 are separated by a distance much larger than the radius of either sphere. So there are two spherical conductors. The distance is very large compared to their radius. One has radius R1, other one has radius R2. The spheres are connected by a conducting wire, some conducting wire they have used to connect this. If the charges on the sphere in equilibrium, now what equilibrium they are talking about? See, obviously these two spheres initially they were charged, and then when you connect them with wire, charge will flow from higher potential to lower potential. Already we have discussed this. So once equilibrium has reached, this has charge q1, this has charge q2, they are saying, then what is the ratio of electric field strength at the surfaces of the sphere? So they want electric field on the surface of this sphere and on the surface of this sphere, ratio they want. Now electric field here will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught charge divided by radius square, right? This we know the formula for electric field on the surface of a sphere. We have done that in Gauss law also, right? And electric field in the other sphere will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by r2 square. Okay, students. So now if you divide the ratio, if you divide E1 by E2 to find the ratio, this and this will cancel. So you will get Q1 by Q2 into R2 by R1 whole square. Now if you look at the option, none of the option has this in the options. This is not there. So we have to think how to find this ratio, because Q1 by Q2 is not there. Now charges will flow till, when I told you, it will flow till the potential here and here will be constant. So once conductors are touched, once conductors are brought in electrical contact with wire or directly, then what happens, I told, charges will rearrange till when? Till potential everywhere in the conductor should be constant. Charges need not be constant, electric field need not be constant, but potential must be constant. So potential here will be what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by radius. This is the formula for potential. Don't confuse with electric field formula. So potential on this surface must be equal to potential on this surface. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by r2. Yes or no, students? So this will cancel. So q1 by q2 will be your r1 by r2. So substitute this here, you will get R2 by R1, because this is R1 by R2. So one R2 will cancel, one R1 will cancel. So that's why if you remember, I used to tell you that once you bring conductors in contact, electric field will be inversely proportional to radius, not radius square, because charge is not constant. What is constant is potential. Potential at the first surface must be equal to the second surface once equilibrium is reached. And that's why I used to tell you that if you have a surface like this, here you can see the radius is very small, here the radius is very large. So wherever radius is small, their sigma will be large, electric field will be large. Okay, already we have discussed this. Please go through the video. Let's do the next question now, question number 38. So 37 is quite simple. Again and again I am telling you, when conductors are brought in contact, charges will rearrange till everywhere in the conductor potential should be same. Let us see the next question now. Question number 38. An electron is taken from point A to point B along the path AB in a uniform electric field E equals to 10 volt per meter, not 10 to the power, 10 volt per meter. Diagram also they have shown, uniform electric field they have shown. Point A is somewhere here and point B is somewhere here. Side AB is 5 meter and side BC is 3 meter. Side AB is 5 meter, side AB is 5 meter and side is BC, this is your BC, so this is BC, this side is given as 3 meter in the question, okay. So AB is 5 meter, this is 3 meter. They are asking the amount of work done on the electron by us, they are saying, by us. Us matlab here external force, not electric force. Okay, students. So how do we do this? Let us first calculate. Let us use the formula directly. Work done by external force. From where to where they told? From A to B or A to C? From A to B. A to B. That would be equal to what? The charge which you move, let us say Q naught, into VB minus VA. Right? Now, let us not worry, let us calculate this difference first. This potential difference, let us calculate in magnitude first. So how I told you to calculate potential difference if electric field is constant? ED cos theta. Remember, between which points I told? A and B. So this should be from A to B. Displacement should be from A to B. This was the technique I taught you before also. So electric field magnitude is how much? 10. Displacement A to B is 5. Cos theta. Now displacement is here. This is displacement. Electric field is here. Right? Electric field everywhere is this way. So this angle is theta. So this is cos theta. Now cos theta how to write? This is 10 into 5 into cos theta how to write? Well, if this is 3, this is 5, this side must be 4. And cos theta is what? Adjacent by hypotenuse. So this is 40. So difference I found 40. Magnitude is 40. Now the sign we have to check. Sign is very easy to check. Electric field is going this way. So this must be higher potential, this must be lower potential. So VA must be greater than VB. That means this difference, VB minus VA, difference is 40, but the sign should be minus. Why it should be minus, students? It's obvious. Electric field is always from higher potential to lower potential. So potential of A is greater, na? So this difference must be negative. Answer is 40. Magnitude is 40. This is how you find the modulus first. Okay, students. So we know it is minus 40. Now the charge which we are moving is electron. So since electron we are moving, what will be the charge? Minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb into difference is how much? Minus 40. That will be the answer in joules. So how they have given the option? Let me check. Well, the options are in terms of, the options are not in terms of joules. The options are in terms of electron volt. So this electron volt I'll be teaching you much later, but let me just quickly tell you, this is a unit of energy. Just like joules is unit of energy, electron volt is also unit of energy. Just like centimeter is unit of length, meter is not the only unit of length, no, centimeter, millimeter, but you should know how to convert from centimeter to meter. Similarly, you should know 1 electron volt is how many joules, that you should know. So 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joules. Okay, so if you go from electron volt to joules, you have to multiply by this number, and if you go from joules to electron volt, you have to divide by this number. So this minus minus will be plus, so it will be 40 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joules. Now I want to convert this into electron volt, so I should divide or multiply. I am going from joules to electron volt, ulta. So I have to divide by, it's not visible, right? Let me slightly move this down. So you divide by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Once you divide this number which is in joules by this number, it will come in electron volt. So answer is 40 eV. Okay, which option it matches with? So it's not minus 40 eV, it's plus 40 eV. So option B. So when in the options it is very clear that negative sign is also there, positive sign is also there. So in such questions you have to be very careful with the sign of the charge which is moved, the difference whether it be positive or negative. And I've already told you how to find the difference between 2 points, potential difference between 2 points when the electric field is uniform. Always use this formula first. Then the sign you can decide by checking how the electric field is going. And you always know electric field is from higher potential to lower potential. Okay. Let us solve question number 39 now. Charges plus Q and minus Q are placed at points A and B respectively, which are at a distance 2L apart. So plus Q, point charges they should say, and minus Q, charges are separated by a distance of 2L apart. C is the midpoint of these 2 points. So C is the midpoint. The work done in moving a charge plus Q. So capital plus Q is the charge which they are moving. So these two are source charges. That charge is the one which we are moving. From, they are saying is moving, work done in moving a charge plus Q along the semicircle CRD. So CRD, for that you have to see the diagram. Okay. So C is here, D is here, and they are moving the charge like this. In a semicircle they are moving. The charge which they are moving, usually we write Q naught, that they are saying is plus Q. Okay students, again it is not visible, sorry. So they are moving this charge Q naught which they have given plus Q. This is the path. Again the path is not important actually, right? Only the initial point and the final point are important. Again this kind of questions we have done so many times. First what we should do, first forget about the charge which you move. First find potential at the initial point and the final point. So potential at C will be what? Due to this charge will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by this distance, which is, this is 2L, so this will be L. Due to this charge will be same but will be opposite. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Charge is minus Q. Distance is also L. So this is 0 directly. So it was wastage of time to do it. You should have just observed. This point is in the middle of two equal and opposite charges. So distance between source charge and observation point, distance between source charge and observation point is same. So it will cancel. So potential here is 0. Potential at D, these are the source charges, remember. Okay, so it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This source charge is Q. Distance between source charge and observation point. This is semicircle, so this will be also L, right? This is L, this is L. So this, the whole distance from source charge to observation point will be 2L plus L. So it will be 3L, and due to this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus Q divided by this distance L. Plus minus, I can write minus here, right? So if I take common, I will get Q by 4 pi epsilon naught L common, 1 by 3 minus 1. 1 by 3 minus 1 will be 3, 1 minus 3 minus 2 by 3. So the whole thing will be minus 2 by 3. Minus 2 by 3. Okay, so this please you try to solve yourself. Minus Q I can write, this 2 2s are 4, if I write 6 pi epsilon naught L. So this is the potential at this point D due to the two source charges. Now we need to find work done to move this charge from where to where, C to D. Path is not important, remember. If the path was like this also, answer will be same. So work done from C to D will be the charge which you move is plus capital Q into VD minus VC. VC is 0, right? So this is 0. VD is minus, it will be minus capital Q small q by 6 pi epsilon naught L. So that would be the work done. So please check which option it is. Option D. Okay. Let's see the next question. Charges minus q plus capital Q and minus small q. So first one is minus small q, other one is plus capital Q, third one is also minus small q, are placed at an equal distance on a straight line. Equal distance on a straight line. If the total potential energy of the three charges is zero, so they are saying potential energy of the system is zero, what is the ratio capital Q by small q? So one charge is minus q, other one is capital Q, third one is also minus q. So minus q, capital Q and minus q are kept in a straight line at equal distances according to question. So if I say this is R, this will be also R. Okay. They are saying potential energy of the system of these three charges should be zero. Go back and remember how to find potential energy of a system. Potential energy of a system, how to find? This is question number 40. You have to find how many pairs are there, and for each pair use the formula 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r. While doing theory, I have already taught this, right? So potential energy of this pair will be how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q capital Q by this r. See, they are scalar quantities, so if they are negative, you have to include the negative sign. This pair will be same, so I can write 2 into, right? This pair also will give same potential energy. Then which pair will be left? This pair also, right? So plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q by this distance is 2r. That should be 0. So this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught you can cancel with this, right? You can take it that side and cancel. Minus small q also cancel. R also cancel. So what is left here? 2 capital Q minus q I cancel. So plus minus is minus q by 2 equal to 0. So 2q will be q by 2. So capital Q by small q will be 1 by 4. Let's bring this to this side, small q this side. So answer should be 1 by 4. Simple problem, right? So option, here they are saying option A, but it will be option B only, right? Okay, I hope I have done it correctly. So this pair will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q capital Q by this distance. This pair will give you same, so double I wrote. Then for this pair, I wrote 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught this charge by this distance, which is 2r. Then this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and this will be common. Then you can divide here 0 by that will be 0. Minus q is common, r is common. So what is left here? 2q and here minus q by 2. Then this one will go this side, should be 1 by 4. Okay, change the correct option. Question number 41 you see now. Two equal charges of magnitude capital Q each. Two equal charges of magnitude capital Q each are placed at a distance b apart. The electrostatic energy is capital E. That simply means potential energy of the two charges. So the electrostatic energy is capital E, they are saying, we write U. A third charge minus q by 2 is brought midway between these charges. The electrostatic energy of the system will be how much? Simple question, 41. So initially they are saying one capital Q is here, one capital Q is here. Distance they have not told, let us assume R ourselves. That time the energy is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. Let us write capital U only, okay? Capital E we usually use for electric field in this chapter. Then later what they have done, they have kept in the middle a charge minus q by 2. Now what will be the potential energy of the system? Now three pairs will be there. So for this pair it will be, see this pair and this pair, this distance will be r by 2, this will be r by 2. So it will be 2 times 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught this charge q into this charge minus q by 2 divided by this distance, right, r by 2, right? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by distance between the two charges. And 2 I wrote because this pair and this pair will give you same potential energy. Then which pair will be left? This pair, right? So that will be plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught this q divided by distance between them, that is r. This is r, right? So you can see this 2 you can cancel with this 2. So you are going to get minus 2 q square by 4 pi epsilon naught r, and here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square divided by r. So this is minus 2. This is, if you take this common, right? So here minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. So minus q square by 4 pi epsilon naught r. In terms of u they are asking, right? So this is nothing but, if you look carefully, this is nothing but minus u. So initially if the energy was u, now it will be minus u. So correct option should be option B. Question number 42, you see, a uniform electric field of magnitude 250 volt per meter. So electric field is uniform, 250 volt per meter. Electric field is uniform. Question number, how much is this? 42. And it is given as 250 volt per meter, is directed in the positive x-axis. So this is x-axis, electric field is uniform. Number always means uniform. A plus 12 microcoulomb charge is carried from origin to a point 20 centimeter, 50 centimeter. So let us say this is my origin, this is y-axis, this is origin. So somewhere here they have taken 20 centimeter, 50 centimeter. Let us call this point P. This is 20, this is 50. Okay, x coordinate and y coordinate. So they are moving some charge this way. And the charge which they are moving, Q naught, they are saying it is plus 12 microcoulomb. If the change in potential energy of the field system is minus k into 10 to the power minus 4 joules, then what is the value of k? They are asking change in potential energy of the system. Change in potential energy of the system. Okay, sorry. So they are asking from here to here, when you go, what is the change in potential energy? Change in potential energy. That will be U potential here minus potential here. Right? That they are asking. Now this we can write the charge which you are moving into potential at P minus the charge which you are moving into potential at O. Q naught common, Vp minus Pu. So let us, this part we know how to do because electric field is uniform. So let us first calculate the magnitude difference. What is the formula? E into D into cos theta. From where to where? O to P. So this is your O to P. Okay, this is shortest, that is the displacement. No, path doesn't matter. Displacement from initial to final. So this is your theta. So E. Now D cos theta is basically, see, this is D. This is cos theta. So D cos theta is basically this side. Yes or no? Yes or no, students? This side is D cos theta. And that is nothing but, if you look carefully, this is 20 centimeter is the x coordinate. So this is 20 centimeter. Okay, so don't try to substitute cos theta and D separately. That will take a lot of time. This is the displacement. Cos theta we should include, right? Now D cos theta is what? If this is D, this is theta, then D cos theta means this side, no? And that side basically means x coordinate of this point, which they have given basically 20 centimeter. So E into 20 centimeter I can write. E was given how much? 250 volt per meter. So this is 20 by 100 meter. If I convert into SI units. So 0, 0 cancel, 0, 0 cancel. So it will be 50 volt. Meter, meter cancel. So 50 volt is the potential difference. Now is it positive or negative? Electric field is going this way. So potential of O should be greater than potential of P. So the difference should be minus 50 because VO is greater than VP. So this will be negative. And the charge which you are carrying is 12 microcoulomb. So 12 into 10 power minus 6, right? It is given here. And this difference is minus 50. So this result will be minus 600 into 10 power minus 6 joules. If you look at the question, they are saying the change in potential energy is minus some number k into 10 to the power 4 joules they are saying. Minus 4 joules, sorry. So if you write this in terms of this, it will be minus 6 into 10 power minus 4 joules. So then if you compare your result with this question, then k will be what? 6. Right? So correct option is C. Let us see the next question now. Three identical particles of mass small m and charge small q are shot at each other from a very great distance. So three identical particles, they are shot, not three, sorry, two identical particles are shot at each other from very large distance with initial speed v. Initial speed is v for both of them. So the question is the distance of closest approach of the charges. Distance of closest approach. So look here, very interesting question. So question number 43 says like this. There are two identical particles, mass is m, both of them, charge is q. They are thrown towards each other with speed vv. And this distance right now is very large, so you can consider it as infinity. Now as they come towards each other, what will happen? This will repel this will repel this. So the motion is this side, but force on this will be opposite. Similarly, motion of this is this side, force will be opposite. So what will happen? It will slow down. So when they reach somewhere here, they may stop and then return. So they will stop and return. This will also stop and return. So that distance is called distance of closest approach, R naught. So this is called distance of closest approach. So we need to find this distance. Okay students, so how to do? Well, from here to here we will apply law of conservation of mechanical energy. Why? Because we have simply thrown them towards each other, right? I am not carrying it. I am not applying some external forces. So the only forces acting are electrostatic forces, which are conservative forces. And when there are only conservative forces, you are allowed to use law of conservation of mechanical energy. So when the system is here, and then when the system is here, this is initial, this is final. Let us write kinetic energy initial, potential energy initial, kinetic energy final, potential energy final. This is the meaning of law of conservation of mechanical energy. Initial kinetic energy will be how much? Half mv square. This also half mv square, so twice. And since they are at infinite separation, potential energy we have taken 0, right? When they reach here, since they are stopping momentarily and going back, the speed will be 0. So here speed is 0, here also speed is 0. Right students? So it will momentarily it will stop here. So kinetic energy of both will be 0. Potential energy will be how much? At this distance, potential energy is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, charge of the first particle, charge of the second particle, divided by distance between them is r naught. So these two and these two will cancel. If you cross multiply, r naught will be q square by 4 pi epsilon naught mv square. So this will be the distance of closest approach. Which option it matches with? Option B. Okay. So quite a simple question.